The second item you may have noticed as you came in, there are several perches located around the back of the audience in addition to one on our stage. Please be aware that our birds frequent these locations and often do so by flying across the audience, but they do tend to use these aisleways as a flight path. So we suggest you keep your eye on the birdie, as the saying may go, and that way everyone will know the appropriate moments to duck. And the last and most important request is if we have food items, most specifically, turkey legs. I ask that you please place those out of sight during the presentation, for one of our birds in particular has learned to identify the wrappers turkey legs come served in. And as of last show, we now have to add the curly cut potatoes with cheese to that list.
Oh, God.
But having said all this, are you ready to see some birds?
Yeah!
Well met. I have several incredible creatures for you this day. The first hails from the southwestern deserts of the United States. It's known as a Harris's hawk, and we call him Crockett. Come on out here, Crockett. You can welcome him to the stage. Go and give him a hand. Crockett is not yet even 1 year old. He was born last spring, and this is only about his 10th presentation in front of an audience. But as a Harris hawk, he is what we would consider to be a typical raptor. And what that means is that he has physical features that make him very different from other predatory birds. See, something else like perhaps a pelican, a stork, kingfishers, even purple martins. All of those birds use their beaks to catch their food. Raptors, however, use their feet. On the end of his toes are claws called talons. Those are his weapons. He'll use them to grab on and hold on to very large prey. And even though Crockett here only weighs about 1.5 pounds, he's capable of catching prey as large as an 8 or 9 pound jackrabbit for dinner. That is impressive considering his size. However, if he caught something that large, it would be far too heavy to fly away with, and certainly too big to swallow whole. So they have to be able to rip and tear their food into bite-sized pieces. You might notice his beak. It's sort of hooked and curved downwards. You might even say designed for ripping and tearing. It allows him to eat quickly and efficiently. My lady, it might not be a good idea to look up and say, wow, he's trained, he's not housebroken. You think I'm kidding?
No, he's not.
But again, it allows him to rip and tear and eat mass amounts of food in a very short amount of time, therefore consuming his meal before something else might get a chance to steal it from him. But on top of all this, raptors also have incredible eyesight. Crockett can see about 4 to 8 times better than you and I can. That means that he can spot his prey from about 1 mile away, and perhaps even tell what color it was, for raptors do see in color. In fact, we believe a wider range of color than you and I see in, and possibly even ultraviolet lights as well. All these traits allow him to do one thing incredibly well, and that is hunt. In the wild, a Harris hawk may catch prey as large as jackrabbits to animals as small as mice and lizards. But being from the desert, it's not uncommon for a Harris hawk to catch rattlesnakes. That is impressive prey, considering you might only make a mistake once. But because they are so very good at what they do, falconers for more than 5,000 years have employed the services of raptors, such as hawks, falcons, and even eagles, to do what they did best, to hunt. Hup, hup. Come back up here, Crockett. You have to realize this started long before the invention of such items as a rifle. It was not only a very efficient means of catching game, but a very sporting one as well. And falconry has often been referred to as the sport of kings, for nobles all over Europe and Asia would host grand hunts just to show off their raptors. And only the nobility were allowed to keep the most prestigious of birds. And very little has changed in the art or sport of falconry over that 5,000-year time period. We still use the very same training techniques of positive reinforcement, or the act of giving the bird a food reward every time it does a behavior we desire. We also use the same equipment. For example, the leather glove or gauntlet that you see on our hands, it protects us from his powerful feet and sharp talons. Where are you going, Crockett? Are you hunting for leftovers? A mouse? Master Paul, is there really a mouse down there? Yes? Not anymore! Well, Paul, go ahead. Is it a fresh mouse? Fresh mouse. I don't know if that's a term you would normally use. Paul, go ahead and let him finish it then. Oh, it's not edible? Yeah, well, Paul, what you have to do is trade him. There you go. It was a real mouse. Oh, a turkey leg. You told me it was a mouse. Right up here. Crockett, come on up here, buddy. Right up here, Crockett. There we go. Now pick up the leftovers. I totally forgot where I was, but regardless, we use the same training techniques and the same equipment that's been used for thousands of years. For example, the leather glove or even the anklets and jesses you see on this bird. But having said all that, what do you say for Crockett? Has he done a good job for us? I think so. And now comes the tricky part, seeing if he will fly home for us. Back up here, Crockett. Hup. And, boy, you're cutting it close there, mister. All right, Crockett, are you ready? Crockett, go home. Hup. Crockett, go home, buddy. No. Let's try that again. Back over here. Hup. Hup. Right here, Crockett. All right. Crockett, go home. Hup. It's only taken us... It's taken us 6 weeks to get him to fly in front of an audience. It'll probably take us 6 weeks more to get him to fly through that door. There he goes, everyone. Crockett.